How you doing today? So today, your bestie is deciding to do some makeup inspired by Joy from Inside Out, and we're going to be talking about emotions today and how we can be experiencing joy as well as sadness, and that emotion is actually bittersweet. So while I do this space, I'm going to also be talking about that. So today I was on social media and I was looking for just I got a message and I was trying to reply back to that message. And as I was replying back, I noticed that someone close to me posted, and the photo brought me happiness, but it also brought me sadness at the same time. And I'm like, but what is this feeling? There has to be a word associated to what I'm feeling. And when I looked up the chart from the Inside Out movie, specifically looking at how your emotions can mix, it stated that I was experiencing a bittersweet moment. And something about the Inside Out movie they don't teach you is that that's what that's called. So when at the end sadness and joy merge together, like as you see, she has blue hair and she has the yellow on, and they actually merge together, that's actually bittersweet. And that's what Riley was feeling about the hockey experience. She was happy, but she was also sad, having a bittersweet moment. So I just did my base. I used the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer as well as the setting spray because I like making sure my face is completely protected and covered. I think I'm going to apply a little bit more of the primer because, like I said, safety is first. I also got these fun colors from Amazon that will be linked down below in the description for you to click on if this is something that you want to do for your Halloween outfit. Another thing that I was thinking about when deciding on, hey, let me show you the palette really fast I'm gonna be working on. And specifically, this is a professional palette. I'm going to be using the two yellow colors within this palette in order to make the look that I'm going for. So I'm really excited about that. I also have this Beauty Glaze eyeshadow so I can have some more yellow options and some blue options for when I'm doing my eyeshadow, because if you look at her right here, she has like around her eyes, that's blue. So we're gonna mix yellow with blue together to make that look. So let's go ahead and get started. Something else that, like I said, they don't really talk about. So let's say you're experiencing double joy, as in you're joyful, all things are joyful, right? You are in a emotion of what's called ecstasy. Let's say you take, like I said, that emotion of joy, and let's say that you are having a very disgusting moment at the exact same time. That right there is actually entry. So these two colors together. Let's say you mixed your joy with a little bit of fear, like that. This will actually be surprise, you having a surprising experience. Or you are joyful, but you also are experiencing some anger. That right there is you taking the time to experience righteousness, okay? And mind you, joy can, like I said, mix with other emotions, and you're going to be experiencing something different. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to go and actually do my foundation. Let's go ahead and I'm going to use this brush right here. I'm going to get my mirror out, and I'm going to start with a base of, I'm going to do this darker yellow first, just so you can see. This is what it looks like right there. So I can also say, when it comes to joy, there are some people are like, I've never experienced joy. I've never. But when I found out that joy can be mixed with other emotions, I realized that sometimes we don't know that joy is mixed with something else. And something else that I can also note is that if you've never experienced it, I have a couple of things to ask you. One is, have you ever felt like you've experienced it before? Any elations when opening gifts, being around other people, or anything like that? Has that ever brought you joy? Having conversations and you getting really emphatic about something, has that brought in you joy? These are the questions that I have for you. Have you did like a touchdown, or you won a competition and that brought you as being ecstatic? Okay, that is my first question. Have you ever experienced also where you were super excited? Because excitement is also joy at the same time. Excitement is more of you being fearful and joyful at the exact same time. A lot of people say, like, no, you can't be both. You actually can, which I think is very cool, which is why the emotions are so important and impactful, because of the fact that you can experience them with other ones. And I can also say is that if you are always constantly experiencing fear, you might have more anxiety than you might want to hear about. Okay, that's what I'll also say. And I say that because anxiety and fear to me go hand in hand. And when you're looking at the symptoms of anxiety and a heart attack, do your own research. I'm a random person. Do your own research. But they're the exact same symptoms. I think that is a wild concept. The fact that you can have the exact same symptoms as a panic attack, which is an anxiety attack, is the exact same symptom as a heart attack. So you'll want to get fear, that emotion, shame, that emotion, guilt, anger, worry. Those emotions are going to dampen your life and make it feel like you are in a place of being powerless when you have always had the power. So some ways that I can recommend that you do to cultivate joy would include practicing gratitude. Writing down at least 3 things every single day right before you go to sleep in regards to things that you're grateful for. And the reason why we cultivate a gratitude practice is so that we can train ourselves to experience joy intentionally more often. For me, when I'm like really joyful, I can be singy songy and super, super extra. But when I'm sad, like I am sad. Like I just want to be inside the house. Okay, like darkness is me, if you feel me. So I will say gratitude is the first thing. Another thing is music can get you in the mood as well. So I would find the tunes that pick up your spirit and I would start playing those in the morning as soon as I wake up to cultivate being happy. So there's a song for me, it's Good Day by Forrest Frank. I absolutely love that song. So as soon as I wake up, I listen to that song and it picks up my day already. Something else that you can do to cultivate joy is going outside and being in the sun or going on a walk, looking at nature and seeing all that exists currently in this moment, in this now. Another thing that I can say that I do to cultivate joy besides that is I play with my dog. Playing with my dog, it brings so much joy to me because he's so silly and funny that I'm laughing majority of the time. And I'm like, dude, did you just do that? He's like, yeah, I did. And it's hilarious because if you have a dog, you've probably experienced the zoomies. I know I have a bunch of times. And to me, that's what a dog looks like when they're in pure joy state. They look like that. And maybe their tongue is hanging out their mouth, their tail is wagging, but they're having a good time. Okay. This is really easy to apply. And let's go here. We're going to move my hair out the way a little bit. Here we go. Just so I can get to the top area. Like I said, I'm just doing the base of yellow. That's the first thing that I'm doing. So something else that I wanted to talk to you guys about when it came to joy is that Remember, everything is about perspective. Someone taught me when I was in my young adult years, I'll say a couple years ago, they taught me this acronym. It's PIP, put in perspective. And since then, sometimes I remember to, sometimes I don't. I'm human, it happens. But I do my best to put things in perspective, especially with situations like, hey, you don't know what you're going to do for work. Hey, I don't know what my next move is. What is next? And that can be in a constant state of worry. Something that I've done to really help me with my mindset about that is I took the time to go up the emotional guidance scale, which is right here. This emotional guidance scale was created by Abraham Hicks, also known as Esther Hicks. And Esther, she talks about the law of attraction. She also talks about getting back into step one, like step 1 to step 4, knowing that you're always going to be moving steps. And that's okay. You can move up and down the ladder. At the very bottom of the spiral, at the very end, that is fear, that is victimhood, okay? Right above that is guilt and unworthiness. And some people live in this state their entire lives, okay? It's not the healthiest state to be in. And to me, I would like to call that living in your own personal darkness the entire time. But darkness with no light and no hope in sight. And then the scale starts to go up. And at the very top of the scale is joy. It's appreciation. It's knowledge. It's enlightenment. It's love. And so when it came to the hardships that I was experiencing, I realized that I needed to work myself emotionally up the guidance scale about each situation that I felt like it was plaguing me and causing me to have worry attached to it. And what I do is I start at the bottom of the scale and I work my way to the top. The bottom of the scale is fear. So I start with a fear statement and then I do a unworthy statement and then I do a statement in regards to, I believe it's rage and hatred is the next up, and then like it literally starts moving its way up, and I go through a statement for each of those in regards to the feeling so that I can feel the feeling and I can move on to the next feeling, because sometimes these emotions just need to be expressed because you're going to go through them anyway. Why not intentionally do it? And I can say when I intentionally go through the scale, this thing that I was feeling like I was plagued with actually resolves itself within a very, very short time period, which I think is pretty neat. So that's also going to be on the screen right here one more time so you can see it. So we have Inside Out 1. Now we're going to go to Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2, more characters were introduced, such as nostalgia, such as embarrassment, such as ennui, anxiety, and envy. So, what does joy look like when it is mixed with a little bit of nostalgia? What happens? Well, this feeling is going to be called reminiscent. You're thinking about all the good times. They normally say that when you're in your later years of life before you transition to whatever your next is, whether you believe there is an afterlife or you don't, that's nostalgia mixed with joy, okay? Now we do joy mixed with some embarrassment. That is going to be a feeling of being sheepish. You're happy, but you don't know, but you're happy, okay? Ennui. Ennui plus a little bit of joy is melancholy. You're happy, but also like, hey, I'm bored, don't know what to do, but here I am. Now, joy mixed with anxiety is anticipation. Simple, right? And lastly, joy mixed with envy is awe. You are in awe of someone or something. So joy can be mixed with multiple emotions. And I'm going to show you the chart right here as well. So that if you should need to reference it at a later date saying, I don't know what the feeling is, I'm experiencing this and this, then you can actually put a name to what it is that you're feeling. So I feel like I am done with my foundation with this. I'm now going to put yellow right here, put my joy right there, and I'm just going to blur. So I'm going to do this so it looks a little bit more cohesive and not like painted on. So tap, 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 tap. Something else that brings me joy is doing this makeup and I'll say live streaming. That's a lot of fun to me, especially because I get to play. So my question to you, while I block this in, is what brings you joy? Put it in the comment section. I would love to read it because I know it's different for everyone in regards to how they personally experience joy. So I'd love to know how you do. So my yellow face is done. And this one did come with setting powder, which I appreciate. There we go. And it does come with a little brush in here, so I appreciate that as well. But further, I'm gonna do my lips. So it looks like her lips are like this pink looking color. So I'm gonna take this, this is called Pixie, and this is called By Under Eye. It's technically a concealer, but I'm gonna use it for the outside of my lips. And I'm gonna do pink because her lips are pink too. There we go. Got joy lips. And then now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the eyeshadow. So it looks like her eyeshadow is blue. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to use the paints for this. I'm going to use this palette like I was mentioning earlier for that. So let me open it. And let's see. There we go. And then I'm going to get this brush right here. And y'all know I like normally going in the inside, but because the foundation's already on my face, I'm not going to do that. I think I'm actually going to use the setting powder and then I'm going to let it sit for a second and then I'm going to do my eyeshadow. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So let me do this. Get it on the puffer. Shake, 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 shake. Like that, and then start applying. Shake some more. Like I said, we're just going to pat it in, and then I think I'm going to shake it out. So you can shake it out by closing it and then shaking it down. Just be careful when you're opening it, not to open it too fast. So take it slow. And then you're going to see a whole bunch more powder in here to get from. So I'm going to do that. Lightly apply. So we're gonna add in some more where it looks like it didn't really finish. So when I'm going into this corner, I'm also covering up my eyebrows with the yellow shadow specifically. Okay, done with that. Now I'm going to get another brush that's more of a flat brush, and this one's going to be used for the blue, and the blue is going to be more on the outside. And the blue that I will be using, I'm going to use this one because this one is just as bright as this hair, as well as what Joy was wearing. So let's go ahead and do this corner. A little bit more. And we're going to go, like I said, above the brow. And then where is this? Because I went a little bit too high, so I'm going to take this. We're going to apply this on top of that blue shadow. And we're just going to trace around that area. We're going to apply some more translucent powder to this side right here. And then I also saw it fell right here. So add some more face paint color. And I can say this paint glides on very smooth and it's not itchy or anything like that for me. But I do recommend, if you do have very sensitive skin, or for any product that's new, always do a skin test. You can do it like by putting it right here on your forearm and confirming after like an hour, a couple hours, that you don't have an allergic reaction. And if that's the case, then go ahead and use it for other parts, because this is like full body paint. So if I wanted to like paint my arms and all that stuff, I could. For the last, I'm not going to. Okay. Let's see here. Let's do this. Okay. Blend it down. Now I'm going to get the puff puff again. And we're going to apply it to what I just put it on. You applied it down here. So I'm going to put it down here. And that's just to make sure it doesn't move. I'm finished. What I've learned from this is next time I need to put a white base down, because it looks up close very stringy, and I don't particularly like that. So I'm gonna have to play around and figure out how I can get a better vibe when it comes to this, because I feel like this was a me error, not necessarily a palette error. I think it was a user error. So I'm gonna learn some more things, because I'm happy, I'm joyful. At the same time, I'm like, I know this could have looked better. So as we're closing to the end, I'm just going to retitle this. This is more horror, inside out, joy makeup. Why? Because do you see how splotchy it is? This wasn't a smooth glide. If it was smooth, I would say, hey, this is the joy look. It's a vibe. But because it's doing the splotchy stuff, it feels more like a horror flick than anything. But either way, shape, or form, I hope this helps you learn what to do and learn what not to do all at the exact same time. I also hope that this helped you provide more insight and more labels to what emotions that you're feeling when you're experiencing different types of joy. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions just to make sure you are paying attention. When you have joy mixed with joy, what is that called? Okay. You have joy mixed with sadness. What is that called? Joy mixed with anger. What is that called? Joy mixed with fear. What is that called? Joy mixed with disgust. What is that called? Joy mixed with nostalgia. What is that called? Joy mixed with anxiety. What is that called? Joy with embarrassment. What is that called? Joy with ennui. What is this called? And lastly, joy mixed with envy. What is this called? These are the answers. How many did you get correct? Put it in the comment section. And remember that you matter, you're enough, and one day, if you've never felt like you've experienced joy, you will experience it. Whether it's excitement, whether it's awe, whether it's melancholy, whether it is reminiscence, whether it is even pure, unadulterated righteousness. You're going to experience joy on some level. So Just so you know, you matter. I love you to infinity and beyond. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this out to a friend that needs help figuring out how to name their emotions as well. Until next time, bye, bestie.